20 website directions in 5 minutes. Before Google Stitch, I had this idea and I wanted to see if that's possible. So I built a node-based tool for myself back in December, and I'm going to show you how that works today. So with every project that I'm building, I'm starting in my own tool. It's Fiverr. We got the design director here lined up. All I need to do is now click localhost and it will open I have a brief here and I can create a new project. And from that new project, I can actually start writing what the project description is. So for now, let's start creating design styles for an e-bike company. Let's see. And I want to keep it as blank as possible now. And then I can select the project type. So this is not at all a tool to start building websites. I wanted to actually see how far I can push AI. Back in December, like now we can actually push it a lot further with just coming up with different design styles. Now let's remove this minimal modern and let's go with a Swiss style, and we're gonna brief a new art director. So this one is just gonna think about everything over here. And let's do some more. Let's luxury premium, brief. Let's do, I don't like bento interfaces, they suck. Let's do avant-garde with something else, playful and expressive. I have no idea what it's gonna come up with there. But at least we can start organizing these and it will start rendering different websites. Now, the first thing that we see is what it does. And what it does actually really well is it generated a design brief, and not a design brief for the full website, just some basic stuff for 4 modules max. So here you can see the summary, secondary messages. It knows what the audience is, what kind of tone it should have, and then a super simple page flow with a hero introduction, some technology, elegance. Then the art director actually comes up with an image plan. And it already knows just from this simple brief, like, hey, we're going to make something for an e-bike company, that, hey, there needs to be a hero introduction. It writes the plan for Dolly or any other model that I want, and then renders the images later on. I'm going to show you how that works. So let's collapse this one. It gives me a nice overview of what we're going to do, and I can just click Build Design. So here's design 1 is going to be built. Let's immediately make 2 proposals. So that one is going to be over there. These ones are also done. So I'm not even going to read anything. I'm just going to hit click proposal, maybe make 3. Who cares? You start building as well. Let's get them a little bit of space. I build in nice ruler lines so we can keep things nice and organized. You know what? You can start building as well. Just build along. It's not going to take long until we're going to have to get some really interesting results. So we just had experimental avant-garde with a playful startup. I'm not really sure how that's going to work out, but let's do also a brutalistic web. And what happens if we combine that with glass morphism? I have no idea, but it's worth trying. So let's click new. And you are gonna work over here and maybe another brutalist web, but let's add it with grid breaking. Let's see what it does. Boom. Here we go. So now you see we have this nice spider web already going on. And before we know it, some really, really good stuff is probably gonna pop up. Here we have the first one. That looks like shit. What it's doing and what it allows me to do, I have this sidebar here. So now it first generated the website and it's a fully working website. But secondary to that, it's still rendering the images and then gonna inject the images into the website. Also, it allows me to explore different color palettes. So let's see how the website looks with green. I think this is actually already pretty nice. So now all we have to do is wait for the imagery to be generated, and we'll see that they will be injected. Probably it's going to take a little bit of time since we're now generating images for probably already a lot of websites though. In the meantime, I can already start seeing what's happening here. There's some interesting stuff. Let's go. So this art director was actually briefed, let's do the summary, on luxury and premium. So it also took that into the image briefs. And since this is a website, I can not only view it here in my node, but let me just open it up in a website. So in the browser, so I can actually see what's going on. Now there's some interesting stuff here. I like the typeface. The image generation kind of sucked. Probably still needs to generate some images, but it's not. Nah, it's bad. It's bad. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's see what it did here. Maybe this one performed better. It's also still generating images. But these are two proposals from the same art director. So it still had the same brief components, but I also forced it to start thinking like, okay, you have this, come up with another proposal. So it uses the same brief. Yeah, pretty basic, but for a minute exploration, not that bad. There might be elements that I want to use from that. Let's see what the Swiss style came up with. There's already stuff that I really enjoy actually. So I like the big typography. There's already good grid. So like a Swiss design should do, there should be red in there, of course. I love these boxes. That is really cool. That is cool. So none of this was actually meant to ever create production ready materials. It's for me an internal tool that I actually wanted to use. I'm like, hey, how fast can I get inspiration for my actual products? The cool thing is, of course, I can get everything into Figma in just one click. This is actually pretty good. I like the structure though. Let's see how it works in a real website. That's nice. There's some good stuff happening. Of course, if we would take this into the studio and start designing it properly, there's a lot of things that's gonna be left out. But for first style explorations, it's really cool, especially since like we can also add inspirational images and URLs. But I'm gonna save that for another video. Ooh, what happened here? We actually, so this was a playful experiment with vibrant energy. This is cool. Yeah, there's some good stuff. That is okay. I would never ever use this. Like, I don't like these kind of designs. This is also not my personal style, but I enjoy what it came up with. And same art director, different brief. Same brief actually, also same art director, just another proposal. There's some interesting stuff. I'm also curious to see what will happen if I use different image models for the generation. Oh, we didn't even click build for these ones. I'm actually super curious about those. So let's give them a second to think and start building. And I haven't seen this one yet, so let's open it up. Also in the live preview, I'm now getting the green that I selected for my color palette. It still looks like AI slop, but who cares? This is for style exploration. I'm not sure if I ever want to continue this project, but it's still fun to play around with it. Let's see what it did here. Oh, it lost the rounded corners. There's something funky going on here. Yeah, not liking this at all. So this minimal kind of thing, like, nah, everything looks the same. That can go. There's one more here that I haven't seen. Yeah, more of the same. But then again, it's also the same art director. I like this type. It's not that bad. Buttons suck, but can I scroll this? Why can't I scroll this? But I like what it's doing with the cards and the lines and the grid. So there's definitely some interesting stuff here that I'm not seeing yet from any other direct one prompt wonder websites. Yeah, but then again, it's just fun. So this is my tool. Ooh, what did it do here? That is horrible. That looks like, I don't know, MySpace back in the day. Oh, but it really pushed the boundaries though. Like, I would never ever design something like this. But then again, hey, it's all about inspiration. It's all about inspiration. And is it really an e-bike shop? Nah. But did we prompt it on to be like that? No, I just said like an e-bike company and then make me a homepage that attracts. Really interesting. I like the colors. What happens if I change the colors? As you can see, the color palettes are not really doing their job. Oh. What's happening here? There's something that's interesting though. And I love how smooth the canvas actually is. So like it was more a tool to first start building the canvas. Like, hey, are we able to create a tool like Figma, like Miro? And I'm actually more happy about the fact that I created this interactive environment than the output it's actually generating. Epic image. There is, so we prompted it on brutalism with glass morphism. That button is big enough. Also this one, but it's just interesting to see. I love these blocks. I wouldn't see why I wouldn't use that in some projects. So anyway, this is how many websites did we actually make? How many design directions? Is like these are 6, then we have 12, we have 13, and 13 design directions in almost no time. I also made it so that there's a light mode and a dark mode. This sounds stupid, but when working at night, I still love this. So they use the bubblegum colors, and if I really like a project, I can just now save it, and it's going to be saved here in all my other projects. Awesome. Bye.